So I want to wish everyone a happy Chinese New Year. And we're here today on January 30th. And the reason why I'm making this chart because there was a huge, or this video rather, there's a huge move that has happened, in the past day. And gold went up beyond its record high, especially in Canadian dollar, hit $4,000 an ounce, right? So it's completely nuts. And I just want to go back 1 year ago. 1 year ago, around this time, January 30th, gold was around $2,740, right? I mean, a bit lower, somewhere around 2,700 there. It's 2,699. And I remember during this time, I was helping one of my friend out, and I was helping them renovate, and I was talking about gold and it rising in every election year. So every 4 years, you could just need to buy gold at the beginning, or maybe the end of last year, right, in December, and then hold it for 1 year, and you make money from that, right? So, anyways, what I didn't expect is we're in January 2025 and it's still rising. So, right, I mean, back then, 1 year ago, it was $2,700. This was Canadian dollars, right? We're looking at the Canadian price. Now, by 2025, today, January, right? Look at it. It's at 4,000. It hit $4,000. And, this thing keeps rising. And you could tell that the Canadian economy is doing horrible, especially with Trump trying to, take us over, which I don't know. I mean, I don't really care because I plan to leave anyways because I realize that there is no saving to this country. But anywho, I'm talking to my other friends and they're planning to leave. And, it's very interesting. But anyways, I wanted to go out on the chart. You notice this all, right, from since 1994. Now, let's go back even further a little. Not just 1990, because the biggest problem started here, 1971. And let's see if they give me that chart or not. I don't know. Nope. Looks like they don't give me that chart. All right. So, anyways, some of the data they want to hide, right? Especially the real estate data. They don't want to give you prices before the 1970s, right? That's how it is. It's not like it's not available. No, no, no. It's not that it's not available. They just don't want to show it to you. Because if this is $500, you could pretty much bet that the price was like $50 in 1970s. So anyways, this $500 here, and then as time goes on, maybe 30 years from now, they'll cut off this section. So all you see is this, right? It's already $1,000. So that's how it works, right? It's the censorship of information. Anyways, so it's at $4,000 today. It just reached $4,000. And I got to say that we're not in a good place. And one of the reasons why I say this is 2008, right? Around here. This is when the recession was happening. I remember I was in school. So this is the recession, the Great Recession of 2008. And this is where it all started, you see? And before this, it all started in 1970, right? So, you can be anticipating rising gold prices for a fairly long time. Anyways, this is about $962. I didn't even know what gold was back then, but that was fairly cheap, right? Now it's $4,000. You probably can't even buy a ring with $1,000 now. But what I really want to say is that, you see, this is like the financial crisis, right? And then supposedly during the financial crisis, gold dropped. And it dropped from 900 to 890, So it dropped quite a bit. It dropped $100. So anyways, I mean, it dropped, right? But you notice where it went on from there, right? The years later, from 2008, maybe it started going up again. And then this 2010. And then you have 2011. So it topped out right here in 2011. And this is where it sidewayed and went down, right? And it went down to 1,300. And that was cheap back then. And then it sideways, nothing happened, whatnot. And then here we have COVID. You see the COVID spike, just like the 2008 spike. Right, here's 2008. Let's say this is the first spike, which is right here. And then, let's go sideways a bit. And then it spiked up again right here. And you're probably thinking, oh, we're going to level off. You see, the problem is this wasn't an official crisis. This was not a financial crisis. It was a health crisis. And what is happening now is that we are going to struggle from another financial crisis sooner or later. It'll be a huge depression or a huge recession. They're going to have to rename the recession, the Great Recession, to the Great Depression. Or, or this is the Great Depression 2.0 or something like that. The second Great Recession. They're going to have to rename it that. I know I've been saying it for a very long time, but, you could tell that that's what's happening. Because even from when prices, I remember prices around here, right? Even if gold was low, you see the real estate prices around the world was rising. So this was actually, where the liquidity was going into real estate, Bitcoin, other assets. And now it's finally going into gold and silver and precious metal. And look at this, 4,000 bucks. It looks like this is just starting, but of course, right, it's going to drop if there's a financial crisis. Now, what will it drop to? I don't know. Like, look, this recession was, the Great Recession, and prices dropped from 900 to 800 or 700. I don't know. Let's say 700. Or even 500. We dropped down to 500 again. But, where is it going to drop from 4,000? It might drop back down to 3,000. I don't know. Maybe, probably, possibly. Who knows? But the point is that we're entering another really, really bad time in history. We're not at the end of it. You see, people think, oh, we're at the top. No, we're at the beginning. The thing is, why we're not at the top is because you got to remember, here is when the financial crisis kind of started, right? And this is like by August, they actually literally told you, we're in a financial crisis. I remember I was in school. Oh, we're in a financial crisis, You got to take what jobs you have and try to create whatever, right? And everything was like 50% off, like in the stores, and you have HMV and stuff. They're cutting 90% off on sale. You don't see that going on right now. And when it happens, everybody's going to be doing that. But we're not here, right? We're not at 2008. We're not here at all. We might be here in 2007, where it just, went from, or 2005, it went from 500 to about 700, right? But at one point, we are going to get to this point, and then it's going to ballistic up to this point again. You see, so that means gold is expected to go higher because there is no solution to what is happening around the world. There is no solution whatsoever. And one of the things I want to show you is not platinum. Too bad I don't have the rhodium chart available to me. But, I kind of wish they had the rhodium chart. So, anyways, actually, let me pull up the rhodium chart. All right, we're back, and finally we have the rhodium chart. I gotta say, some of the sites are purposely, deliberately trying to suppress the data. So you notice the rhodium chart from 2000 and stuff is around 500, and then it goes to 1,000, and then it went up to about 6,000. This is 2006. And then once we hit 2008 financial crisis in the middle of the summer, it went up from a high of 10,000, almost $10,000, down all the way to 1,000 again. And then once we hit COVID, right, it went up to $10,000, and it went up to like 30,000. Okay, and I look at this chart because whenever there's a financial crisis or some sort of crisis, the crisis always hits rhodium down to about $1,000. Okay, maybe 1,500. I don't know, right? Or let's say now it's 2,000, right? Before it was like here, around here, 500, 400. If you double 500, 400, it's about 1,000. So each 10 years you have here, right? And it goes down to about $1,000 here. This went down about to 500 to 1,000. Here is about 1,000 to 2,000. So I'm expecting this thing to roll around. What the hell? It froze. All right, so I'm expecting this thing to roll around 2,000 to 4,000. We haven't seen 2,000 yet, which means that there is still a crisis that is coming, right? Rhodium, I think, is a signal for crisis because whenever it hits the low, right, it's telling you, oh, wow, this rhodium price, I should have bought it back then. This is crazy. All right, but anyways, if you buy it right? It's hard to buy. Like these, you actually have to buy bars. But anyways, the prices always go down. So now rhodium is down to 4,000 bucks, right? Which essentially is telling me there is more like problems in the market. It's going to fall further, right? Even though gold prices are up, but this is US dollars, so it's different. But even if gold prices are up, right, in Canadian dollars to $4,000, and of course in US dollar it's around 2,800, there is more problem on the way. Right, this is not one of those things that's going to be solved. And of course, you have silver here. Silver is the one I really like because I think it's cheap. Right, I like buying cheap stuff. And silver in 2008 went from $20 down to $10, so it got cut in half. And here it went from about $50 to about $13 again. And I actually bought some of the silver. I opened some positions about 30. I just closed it recently. Unfortunately, when I closed it, it went up a dollar again. But I didn't expect that the new year it would still have such a strong reaction. So, anyways, it went from um, about $50 back down to about $10, $20. And I'm expecting silver to have the similar move. Now, in Canadian dollars, silver is actually at 50 bucks or around 50 or 45 something. So it's almost $50 already, right? Because you got to remember during this time when silver was $50 in US dollar, in Canadian dollar, in conversion, it was 1 to 1. So it almost hit it already. It's at $45 right now in Canadian dollars. And if it were to go up even higher, that means in Canadian dollars, it's going to go up a lot more for around $50 that you spent. So let's say that silver right now, which is at 31.57 in US dollars, if it doubled, right, you get like 62, $63, okay? Now, $63 in Canadian dollars is about 100 bucks, right? And if it depreciates against the US dollar even more, it is going to be exactly or over $100. All right, I decided to swap back to this chart because it was easier for me since this one is in Canadian dollars. So like I was saying, it's at 46 something, right? Well, up here it's $46 already. So essentially, you kind of see the prices and where it's going. And silver is going to surpass, it already surpassed its 2011 highs in Canadian dollars. It just hasn't surpassed it in US dollars. So, for 50 bucks, I think it's a pretty good bet. Now, if you have a lot of money, right, you could buy gold. I mean, gold is always a good hedge against inflation and to protect against financial crisis and other things. But, you know, when I was interested in gold, right, it was around here, you know, right? It was around this time. This is when I graduated and I started studying. But it was like about $1,000. It was doable. $4,000 in Canadian dollars. Most of the people earn about they don't even earn $4,000 a month, right? They have to pay rent and they don't even earn $4,000 a month. So how you're going to be able to throw away $4,000 is a bit difficult. But if you want to gamble and you want to try to throw away something, then I think silver is a better bet. Of course, I will say that I believe whenever the financial crisis comes, and rhodium, if you see rhodium down to $1,000 or $2,000, it's probably time to start nibbling away at some of these metals that are still cheap, like silver. I mean, now is a good time, but you know that you're in the middle of a crisis when rhodium is down to $2,000 or $1,000, and then what would happen is other stuff would also be dropping, right? And then of course you'll see the news. We're in a financial crisis and stuff like that. So you know, gold is a great hedge. It's always good to have because your currency is always depreciating. Now, if you want to make bets, I'd say silver. You just put like $100 in or $200 in, and hey, maybe you could double that, right, when the crisis happens. But anyways, I mean, gold has been having a spectacular year, and let me just go here and show you. I don't recommend buying from these sites but these sites have some of the best charts, right? So one of the things is everybody usually buys 1 ounce, right? That's how it works, right? 1 ounce is about $4,000, and most of the people they buy the coins or the bars. The coins. Let me just find the Canadian coin if you're Canadian. And dude, why is it so difficult to find a stupid coin here? Come on, assorted coins. All right, gold coins. You see, you can tell I don't use this site much, but it has some good stuff. All right, so this coin, 2025, you're gonna pay about $200 over spot. Now that's bill payment or check. Now, if you're using a credit card or PayPal, you're gonna pay $400 over spot. So it's quite expensive. And as the price goes up, the spread is going to be a lot more, right? So I don't really recommend getting one of these coins. What I do recommend is trading on Forex, and I don't recommend the mining stock. I don't know. If you watch Peter Schiff, they talk about, oh, hey, the mining stocks can make you a lot of money. But the problem is the mining stock is still just a stock. Anyways, gold has been having a spectacular year, and I'm quite surprised at it because, like I was saying, I thought it would run out of steam, and it might run out of steam, right? But since Trump is there causing, uncertainty, I think the prices are going to continue to rise, especially in Canadian dollars, because in Canadian dollars, Canada's not doing very well. If I had to be honest, if your prime minister had to uh, if your prime minister had to resign, it's not a really good thing. It's not fixable, a lot of the problems. And the best thing to do is to invest or run. A lot of people are talking about running, leaving the country. That's how it is, unfortunately. But look at these gold prices. When you see this 2,700, it's not that the gold went up 2,700. It is your currency that has went down by 1,000 something. All right. So the difference, if you take $4,000, right? If you take 4,000 and you minus it by 2,700, so you take 4,000 to minus 2,700, you just effectively lost $1,300 on each ounce of gold, and your money is losing value. It's time to save or try to save or secure your wealth. And, gold is one of them.